It's almost a cliche now to say that startups and entrepreneurs are now the buzzword in India. Every couple of days you see a banner headline or even headlines on TV revolving around something which involves a startup. We know, of course, the big startups, we know the headlines they make, we know the money that they're bringing in, we also know their promoters, they are usually everywhere and cannot be missed and are told very often how they are changing India. What about another group of change makers? People who are working on the ground and of course are also entrepreneurs in their own right. They also are part of startups, many having founded them. But like I found when I discovered and I began reading up on social entrepreneurs, at the heart of their desire to set up a startup is a social cause they want to address through this enterprise. They are people that many say are going to be key if India is going to change its story from here on in the next couple of decades. Dhimant, I'd like to ask you first. This is a space, an age that we're looking at where perhaps most people are now associating the term startup or entrepreneurs with, say, e-commerce, with the likes of aggregators. Then there is another set of equally key people working in these diverse areas that my panel is now involved in, is today involved in. How do you see the kind of work that people like yourself are doing, and what's been the response?
So it's been an interesting change in terms of the ecosystem where we are right now. On one end of the spectrum, you have people building these great startups, huge valuations. And for me, fundamentally, even that leads to social impact. For me, like any business which leads to employment, which leads to creating more opportunities, is essentially creating social impact as well. And on the other hand, we also have people trying to solve more social issues, more issues related to community management. And so I think it's great for the ecosystem that we have this spectrum of entrepreneurs. It's just in terms of what problems you're passionate about solving, and you end up getting bracketed either as a social entrepreneur or as a out and out business entrepreneur. But I've seen this great trend happening in especially the last 2 years. We're seeing that more and more younger people are coming out there and saying, hey, I want to solve this rather than sit down and just crib about it.
Right.
So I think
and that's,
great.
Of course, a very important point. And to my mind, there's some sort of a generational shift there, isn't it, Ash? That there are more and more people who are saying that this is a vacuum. I perhaps have a solution, or let me at least try to fix this. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I think so. I think there is certainly a growing trend in participation of young people in social action, and that's leading to a generation of more social enterprises. Just to give you an example, we've been doing supporting young social startups for a long time, for nearly 10, 12 years. And earlier, just getting 25 really good startups to support was a real challenge.
I see.
This year, when we set out to support 100, we got 700 applications. So, I mean, that's to me a sense that, it's thriving.
Right. And that's, of course, very, very heartening. Mr. Ganpati, is that sort of your experience as well? And when we sort of see these numbers, is sort of, I would imagine that maybe 700 isn't what perhaps you would sort of like to push or put your weight behind, but the numbers perhaps would be more encouraging than before. The numbers would be still far more than 100.
No, we're definitely seeing a significant increase in the numbers, but I can't say we're seeing a significant increase in quality yet.
Sure.
So we look at 1,300 applications every year. We'll look at 400 really closely. We'll take maybe 100 to our internal screening committees, but we finally end up selecting about 20. And 15 out of those 20 will actually need a lot of work before they can create a real business model that can succeed and have impact.
I'm sorry to